Yes, yes. We're here, we're here, we're here. I'm trying something out while we're getting started to see if that's working. In the meantime, Kyle V, salute to you. Vest in the building. DJ Reds, the producer. Salute, salute, salute. And we got the kid RC3 in the building. Yo. Let me quickly see if this is all working. Because I'm trying to do the Instagram thing again using Yellow Duck this time. I'm not sure if that is working. DJ Bricks in the building. Salute, salute. So give me 1 sec because it's telling me it's broadcasting. But I don't see it. I can't see it if I open IG. So I have no idea if this is working on Instagram right now. And I have no way to tell either. Mixmaster G, was good, was good. Tomcat Meow, salute to you. So no, I have no idea if this is working now. Because that's what I really wanted to know. You should be able to stream through Yellow Duck. And it's not working, I think. Even though it's telling me it's working. Another DJ colleague of mine asked me about this because he ran into the same issue using Yellow Duck and it seemed to be broadcasting, but he couldn't see it himself. I'm having that same issue, so I can't see it. So I have no idea if it's actually working. If someone has a phone there and you follow me on IG, maybe you can go to IG and see if you can see my live there. But then again, even if it is working, if I can't see the IG comments, it doesn't really add anything to it. So I'll leave it on for a second, then I might take it off. I see this spammy comment from Facebook. I quickly want to delete that, actually. Before we get into it, so let me just do that. We got Mariana in the building. What's going on? And, okay, the video is still lagging behind the audio. And I even added more audio delay before I began this stream. So I still got to add more, I guess. All right, I just adjusted something. Let me see. Let me see if Vess, is that can you notice a difference now? Is the lag more or less? Let me know that. Microphone check 1 2 1 2. Lag test. Lag test. Skojo in the building. Salute, salute. Kyle V, it's working. You're live on IG, on Instagram. That would be cool. Still lagging? Is it lagging more or less than just before? That's what I need to know. A bit less. Let me just do even more. Hold up. Let's see if that works. In the meantime, even if we have a little delay, and let me know if it's less now. So IG is working, but I can't see it. So then I can't see comments on Instagram. So if people on IG are watching this, Share the Knowledge Live every Wednesday. Normally I'm not. Okay, it's more now. It's more now. The lag is more now. Because then might have to turn it the other way around. I'm seeing the questions, by the way. I'm seeing one question right now from Leonzo. And bro, I swear to God, I'm willing to bet money on it that this is probably the third, fourth, or fifth time you've asked this question or a similar question during the lives. More. Okay. One more adjustment, and then I'm just going to leave it alone. Hold up. Let me know how this is. Hey, we're freestyling. It's live anyway. Hey, and I noticed something. I'm noticing something right now. We've had this happen before. And while I read this, y'all can let me know if the lag is more or less different, the same. Perfect? So I guess I was moving the meter the wrong way. If this is better. So if this is better, that's a good thing. Let me see what happened to my other cam. I had a GoPro set up, and I don't see it now. But it's much better. Okay, so I guess I went the wrong direction with the settings. I might be able to get it better than that. Hey, before I get to specific questions, I've talked about this before, and I'll talk about it more. But that is the topic of people always asking which is better. And I'm already seeing a couple of examples here. Windows or Mac, Serato or Tractor, Rain 1, Rev 7. On that note, I'm going to give a moment of silence right here. Because I had to say goodbye to the Rev 7. I don't have it in the studio anymore. It happened. It happened. I don't have it here anymore. That being said, it will be back here in the studio. It will be back. Let me see. Still no picture? Wagwan. That camera is on. I had it on before I started my live. So yeah, we're starting this live stream today kind of messy, but that's okay. Hey, I can't see IG. I can't follow IG, so I'm going to turn that off because I don't like having that stream on if I cannot see the comments. That's kind of bothering me right now. So I'm going to put that one here, say done, close. Let's see, is it here yet? No, it's not there. All right, so stop the broadcast. Bang. Yes. Finish. Cool. IG is out. All right, here we go. Let me get to these questions first. The first question I saw, that's also one of those questions, and that's not a question of Serato or Tractor, Mac or Windows, but what is the best record pool, the best DJ record pool? That's going to be different for everyone. I mean, of course, certain record pools might have a better system so that it's easier to find tracks, queue tracks, load tracks. Some record pools also have an app for your phone so you can just put records on hold in a queue, and then when you get home, you can download them, or like with DJ City, you can even do that, and it downloads them at home on your computer. But if we're just talking about the content of record pools, what the record pools have to offer, there is no best record pool. Some people will say, hey, I roll with that record pool because they have a better selection when it comes to this genre. Another one will say, hey, I roll with that record pool because they have the newer songs earlier. My answer for the best record pool is, I don't know. The reason why I say I don't know is, first off, I have not tested most of the record pools that are out there. So I honestly can't tell you. I mean, I used to use different record pools. I've used Franchise Record Pool, but that was, trying to guess how long, 6-8 years ago. I used Crate Connect for a while, even longer ago. I used Beat Junkies. I still use DJ City. But there's a lot more out there. I've seen BPM Supreme. I see a lot of you in the chat mention a couple of others that I've never even been to before. So I don't know what the best record pool is because it all depends on what you're looking for. Certain record pools might have a selection of country and you're a DJ who needs that. So that's really hard. And that's why I always say there is no best. Also, if people ask you like, hey, what's the best turntable? There is no best. An RP 8000 Mark II might be the best for you because it has a ton of options to control software. But maybe that's totally not your thing. And then you might be better off with a totally different turntable. Serato or Tractor? Depends on what you like. Same thing. Depends on what you like. I can't sit here and say that Serato is better than Tractor. I prefer Serato because that workflow fits me better. That UI, the way it looks, the way it works better for me. Mixmaster G's in the chat right now. He'll say Tractor. And he'll have a couple of reasons why Tractor is better for him. And some DJs will have that with other software. So there is no answer for that. The best thing you can do is see if you can try it out. So if they have a free version, try that free version out. There are other pros and cons. So for instance, if you're going to use Tractor, it works best if you use Native Instruments gear. That's my experience, at least. Hardware from other brands hasn't worked that well for me, but I haven't tried everything. So again, that's not something I can answer. And Leonzo came in with the question again for the I don't know how many times he's asked that now, between like Windows or Mac. Sorry, I have to put this on Do Not Disturb. I honestly, I don't even want to answer that question anymore, the Windows or Mac question, because I've seen that question so many times from the same person. But because there might be other people watching who haven't watched before, who haven't asked that question before, I'll just repeat one more time, especially because the question is which one is better for DJing. Both will work great for DJing. You just have to get a computer that has the specs that you need. Don't go for the minimum specifications. Try to go for the recommended specifications. Make sure you have a processor that's powerful enough. Make sure you get enough RAM. And if possible, try to get a good amount of storage. Make sure you use a computer with an SSD, especially if you're on a laptop. Use an SSD, not hard drive. I mean, that's pretty basic stuff. It will all work. Oh, by the way, I just talked to a DJ friend of mine yesterday. They were having trouble to get a Range 70 to work with a Windows laptop. Great Windows laptop. It was an XMG DJ15. That is a great laptop for DJing. Couldn't get it to work. The only thing I could think of, maybe it's a driver, but now today I found out that the DJ had updated and was using Windows 11. If you're on a Windows computer, please, if you haven't updated to Windows 11, just don't do it yet. Don't do it. Stick with 10. Some brands have already released like updates so that their software works with Windows 10. But in this case, for instance, he cannot get that Range 70 to work on his Windows 11 computer. So just a heads up. Hey, Vess. It's okay. Like I said, I'm getting it back, so that's gonna be good. Let's see, RC3, what did you say? I finally got my own mix show called Turn Up Tuesday with all new hip hop. Hey, there you go. Congrats. That's dope. And my dad is thinking about switching to Windows because the updates, if updates that his Mac can't handle. Okay. And Vinyl Touch, what's good? Could you share your knowledge on speaker selection for home and for playing out? Vinyl Touch, you've been here often enough. You should know. I know nothing about speakers. Absolutely nothing. So for speakers, I'm just not the person to ask. I mean, I have speakers, I use speakers. The speakers I have here are more for the music side of things like production. So they're more studio reference monitors, but the ones I have here now, I also use them as my DJ monitors. I have the RM7s from Pioneer here. Used to also have my NS10s from Yamaha here, but I have them at home now. So if I want to do some work at home, I have some speakers there. But those are not DJ speakers at all. And for playing out, I have no knowledge at all. So I would never think about sharing knowledge about that because I simply don't have the knowledge when it comes to the speakers. Smydro in the building. Salute. I didn't see you yet. Salute. And Kyle asked another question. I know that's up there. Let me scroll up there about something about artists. Oh, let's see. Any new artists you're listening to? We would have to define new, because I know there's like brand new young artists out there that I probably haven't heard yet or hardly listened to. I see plenty of the names come by. I mean, my oldest is 14 years old, so I get to hear names that are newer than new because they are all listening to rappers that are like a couple of years older than they are, and I don't know them. So I don't know. I don't know if I listen to new rappers. What I've been listening to on repeat for the last I don't know how many days is God Don't Make Mistakes, Conway album. I don't think I've played anything else since I started playing the Conway album. I'm big on Griselda, by the way, but I don't consider that new artists, just to say. So for some people, Griselda might sound new if they hear like Conway, Benny. I don't consider those to be new artists. But that's been getting heavy rotation. Fleboito. I have to get it right. Fleboito. Good evening. Mix and Mel, salute. I'm fighting this chair again. I'm at war with this chair. It keeps on dropping. We got DJ Do It in the building. Let me get these shout outs out the way. I've seen some of the names go by, but I just did not check them yet. Do you need to know how to scratch to beat juggle? Do you need to know how to scratch to beat juggle? I would say on the one hand, not necessarily. For it depends on what kind of beat juggle you're doing. There are beat juggles that don't require scratching, but here's the thing. Everything within the turntablism realm is connected because it all helps to develop a better feel, and the feeling is very important. And you are doing a lot of motions that you also do during scratching. A lot of moving the platters back and forth, holding them. But you could teach someone to do beat juggles without them knowing scratch techniques. But if you're interested in that, I would also always advise to make sure you learn the basic scratch techniques, because they could help you with juggling as well, even though they're different things. Recently got Heavy Hits record pool and love it. And RC3 mentioned the record pool, but I think it's a link because I can't see it. So Twitch must have dropped that out. How to get out of a BPM trap, for example, a set of 15 minutes in 100 BPM from Baby Capper. How to get out of a BPM trap? I mean, there's a lot of ways you could switch. I mean, it all depends. You could like slowly transition to something slower or faster and actually do it by mixing. Let's say you're playing 100 BPM tracks. After a while, you want to switch the tempo. Now, you can switch drastically. I'll get to that in a second. So let's say you're playing 100 BPM. Now you're going to go play 120 or 140. But the first example would be, let's say you just want to go up, get it up to 105. and from there maybe go to 110. You could do that gradually just by first off having a 100 BPM track, getting a track ready that you play that's 102. While the 100 BPM track is playing, you can slowly pitch that up. So you already make it faster. Now you're already escaping that 100 BPM. The next track you mix in is 102. Next track you get might be 103. So while you're playing that 102 BPM track, you can also speed that up a little bit. That is an easy way to get out of a certain BPM by just slowly transitioning. And I do that a lot. I did that a lot when I used to do mixtapes. I would start at a certain BPM and I would stay there, and then I would go up a bit. And you could do the same thing if you want to go down a bit. You want to play a little bit slower. You could also like slowly already adjust the pitch, the tempo of the track that's currently playing. Change that tempo downwards and then mix in a track that is that lower tempo. Pitch that down a bit, so on. Now, if you want to do a drastic transition, then you're not mixing. If you want to go from 100 to 140, then you're not mixing. So then you just want to get that out with an effect or anything like that, or just rewind it, host, and bring in a new track, and don't overthink it. Then you just want to switch. Wait, Vess, is that for real? Did Epic buy Bandcamp? I didn't know that. Do I have an opinion? No, actually I don't. I haven't even thought about that. No. Yeah, Mixmaster G. I thought about that after I finished the call. I was like, wait a minute. It sounded strange to me that an XMG was shipped with Windows 11 when it's optimized, but I have to ask him if he did the update or if they did it. I think he did the update. And I don't know if they're made to not be able to update or if they're just giving you Windows 10 and then that you could update. But I have to ask. Vinyl Touch, the question is, do you have a green screen setup now? I've had a green screen set up for, let's say, 7, 8 years, something like that. No, 8, 9 years probably. And when I say a setup, it's not a setup. I have a large green piece of fabric. And when I bought it with 2 large tripods and a beam, and then you can just clip it onto the beam, and then you have a nice large green background. I used it for my own channel. I think I only used it like once. And in the beginning, when I started to make videos for DJ City back in 2015, or early 2016, I think the first couple of videos, first like 10, 20 videos I did were all with a green screen background, if I remember correctly. I mean, I used green screen for them. I didn't like it that much at the time. Also, I didn't have advanced knowledge, so I didn't like the way the color overall turned out. I applied the key and it worked, of course, but it also kind of it kind of messed with my skin color. Plus the space I was in was a little bit too small. And if you're too close to the green screen, then it's going to leak on you because I had good lights on the green. The green's going to reflect a little bit. So I wasn't the biggest fan. I actually just did something with green screen. No, I wouldn't say with green screen. I just did something with green that is going to be on the channel in like a week or so, but don't expect anything crazy. It's not like doing anything with the background. Just was in a fun state of mind when I was recording something. So you'll see that soon. Chris on the mix, salute to you. And we got Sonny in the building. What's going on? All good over here. And DJ Kylo is here as well. T-Babs is here. Again, sorry about not finishing the shout-outs. I just get distracted by all these questions. I don't know why people are asking me questions. Michael Briley in the building. Salute. And let's see. Christopher Murphy is here. World by You is here. Boulder Goons is here. Was good. Just checking out all the names real quick. Timbuktu is here. Guten Abend. Jazzy Jazz is here. Chris Palacio is here. And I'm going to start with the last question. Then I got to go back. I'm going to go back and forth today. The whole show is kind of messy, so let me stick with that messy vibe right here. And we got DJ Amendio in the building. Salute to you as well. So I see a question here. And D-Rec, I appreciate that sub. Much love. So I see a question here. And the question is, as a freestyle DJ, do you ever have to make a clean version of a song? Or wait, no, as a freestyle of DJ, do you ever have to make a clean version of a song? I don't really see the connection between freestyle DJ and clean. So I don't make clean versions. I do download some clean versions from record pools. I think on one hand, here, DJs here in the Netherlands, we're not really used to it because we never had to do it because the radio wasn't censored, TV wasn't censored. So you didn't really have to worry about that. In the clubs, of course, you could play dirty. Now, when I got older and when I did some events where I was playing for kids, I did find it uncomfortable to play like dirty versions. So I know that for certain events, I would like to have the clean version, but I'll just look to see if the DJ pool has it. Have I ever had to make one? No. Now, if there's a specific song that I really want to play and I don't have a clean version, then maybe I'll do it, but only if it's a song that doesn't have like too many cuss words in there. Like certain artists are just dropping like F-bombs and all sorts of stuff the entire time. So then you have to like edit every 4 words. That's too much work. Sven, what's going on? Salute. Guten Abend. For all my German peeps in here, all my neighbors. Vinyl Touch says, if you're a wedding DJ, you have to play clean versions, though. So, again, here in the Netherlands, that's not true. Now, I'm not a wedding DJ. I've said this many times. I've only done like 3 weddings. In all cases, I was booked to play my style. They wanted me to be me, play how I play. I don't think I played a single clean version at those weddings. No one minds. Now, if I was in the States, different story. Different story for sure. Rashid G, what up? De zijn zeker Dutch OG's in the chat ook. Mixed Master G is saying the same thing. Like, we don't really have like dirty versus radio versions here. But I understand. Like, and if I was playing at certain events now, like family-oriented events, I would not play dirty versions for sure. DJ The Merciless in the building. Salute. Did you build your studio new? It looks good. No, the only thing you're seeing that's different is the fact that I finally decided to put sleeves up again instead of having just the records showing. This gives much more of a vibe. I used to do this all the time. Since I was in the studio here, I didn't really do it. See, every 5 minutes I have to get that chair up. But now I'm back to doing that, and I like the vibe. It gives you much more of a vibe, but it's the same. Everything is the same. It's just the fact that you see the covers. Ivan, salute. Jazzy Jazz says, man, been out of the DJ scene for several years, and now your videos popped up. Sorry. Glad you're still doing what you do. Yeah, still here. We're still here. And I'm actually doing more now compared to the last couple of years. So back at it. Oh, Vess, so it's brand new news indeed. Yeah. Yeah, I have no idea what to think about it, actually. Let's see. I see Mixmaster G answered the Sunny question. And no, I've never used that Behringer mixer, so I'm not familiar with it. And I haven't really used their stuff, to be honest. But yeah, Mixmaster G has a suggestion there, I see. Best way, your way to organize open format crates. I don't have open format crates. So my thing is, and that would help me out if I want to create like an open format crate, is just to make sure that you're really tagging your tracks properly. Put a lot of information in the tags. That way you can make a smart crate, an intelligent playlist, depending on which software you use, that's what it's called. But that's just a crate that you can give rules, and then you could make the rules match, like make them match a certain BPM range, certain energy, certain vibe. Maybe you color code it as well. And then you just say, I want that in these genres. And then you get a crate that will be filled with all of these different genres, but tracks that all meet the right criteria. That's how I would do it. But you will have to tag all of your music. And it's going to be a long journey for me to do that, but to have more information in there. So not just have genre, artist, title, BPM, key, but actually have more information in there that could be useful. Is it a warm-up track, a lounge track? Is this like a build-up track? Is this like a primetime track? Is it a mellow vibe? Or is it whatever terminology you want to use? If you want to use that type of terminology, or if you have your own ways to describe tracks, something that's very energetic, that could be with words. It could be with a rating system. Like I said, color-coded. The more information you have in your tag, the easier it will become. Also, if you're playing freestyle and you're in a certain vibe, and that vibe has certain information in there, it will be very easy to create a crate, even on the spot, that has similar vibes to the track that you're playing. That's what I would do. Just get more information in my tags. Christopher Murphy also had a question. How do I delete missing music in my Serato? I've used the directions from Serato web, from the website, step by step. Nothing works. Mixmaster G says, check that those missing tracks are not coming in through the iTunes integration. That, like, I just wanted to ask, because I never used that, but I've heard that before. Like, if people use iTunes, then sometimes even if you delete, then somehow iTunes still tells Serato that the tracks are there, and then they show up again. So I think that's an important one. Beyond that, I don't know. DJ Do-It says, I have the Bose L1 Pro 16 arrays and love them. See that speaker talk. You lost me already. Now I need to learn more about it. That is something, though. When DJing with another DJ, do you prefer switching multiple times or only switching once? I think that's a great question. And sorry, as you can tell, I'm going back and forth through the chat to check questions. If I'm taking too long, you can ask again, but don't ask within the next, like, if I haven't answered in 5 minutes, give me time to get there. Give me at least 10 to 15 minutes. So, but this is a great question. When you're DJing with another DJ, do you prefer to switch multiple times or only switch once? So it really depends on how you can connect with that other DJ. I mean, I've played in plenty of spots where I do an hour and another DJ does an hour. Then I might do an hour. The other DJ might do an hour. To me, that's not even playing with another DJ, because within that hour, one DJ can take it in this direction. In the next hour, I can take it in a totally different direction. So, but with certain DJs, that is the best option, because I've tried to play like actual back-to-back sessions with DJs. I used to be part of a DJ team. I used to play with another DJ here in the Netherlands, DJ Mani. We played as an actual DJ team, Major League. And when we played. You were not seeing a set of mine and then he would do a set. No, we were playing. Anytime one of us would be behind the decks, the other one was holding the mic and hosting. And we did this in the vinyl days, but also in the digital days. And it was really all on feeling. So he could be playing a track. And when he's playing that track, I'm like, this is going to fit perfect. And I would have a track. And I could just go next. Now, sometimes you might play 2 or 3 or a couple. But then the other one will come back in. And you're always connected and involved because, like I said, if one is mixing, the other is hosting. So if you're hosting while the other one's playing, you're still part of the set. You're hosting to the set. You're interacting with the crowd. At the same time, you might get ideas for a track. That is proper back-to-back, like really going for it. I've tried that with other DJs, and then you start to play. You play a track. They come in, play a track. And the next thing they tell you is, yeah, I got 4 more. Okay. And you let that DJ go, and they play in the same vibe you were playing in. And then on the last track, they switch the vibe. I already had like a couple of tracks ready that were fitting the vibe that was being played. And then on that last track, that DJ would like throw me that curveball. Go in a different direction, like play a different genre. And then was like, yeah, now you can go. I'm like, mother, how? Why? And that happened a couple of times. And then you could tell, like, okay, this is not really working. We're not on the same wavelength here. Different example, what could also happen is that you find out that you and another DJ just have a different definition of certain things. I've had that happen too, that you're in a warm-up and then you're playing with a DJ and the DJ brings in the next track. And you're like, whoa, that's a lot of energy. And they're acting as if that is perfectly fine because in their eyes, that's a warm-up song. And they're in their right to feel that way, but then you're not really connecting because now the vibe is already different. Because in my mind, I was still warming up. That energy level is higher. Now I have to look for different sorts of tracks. So when you find out with certain DJs, it doesn't really connect well, then you're probably better off switching and taking like 30 minutes or hours, or maybe even 20 minutes. Most important thing is to have a little bit of communication. Like taking it back to that DJ team example, when we played together, we were in constant communication. So it was also like, hey, one of us might be playing and the other one was like, okay, like maybe he was playing something. And then I was like, okay, we've been in this vibe for like 15 minutes. Let's switch it. Let's switch the dancehall. And then I would just like let him know, like, yo, want to switch to dancehall next? And most of the times it would be yeah. And sometimes it would be like, now let's play a couple more in this vibe first. Cool, let's do that. But you're constantly communicating, keeping it on that same wavelength. That's really good for your event instead of having DJs that are going like in opposite directions sometimes. So love that question. And it really depends. And unfortunately, sometimes you're going to have to try out to see if it works and find out on the spot that it doesn't work. And I've had that happen multiple times. But then I remember for the next time, if I'm ever playing with that DJ again, the next time we're not playing that same way. How do you handle your gain staging from the software or purely through the hardware? Are we talking DJing? Because if we're talking DJing, after a couple of years, it took me a couple of years, I don't want to say I noticed it after a couple of years because I saw it earlier, but in Serato, I did notice that all of my tracks were actually pretty loud. They were going up in the meters. And I decided at a certain point I wanted to take it down there. Normally I would just do it on the mixer. But after a certain point, I was like, I don't feel it should be that high within the software before it comes into the mixer. Now, I'm not sure if it actually makes a difference in that case. And I don't always pay attention to it. But yeah, now I have moved to gain staging like in the software first. But when I start mixing, so let's just skip that software part. Let's say the software, I fixed all those tracks. None of them are too high. When I start, if I start and do a sound check before I play a gig, I will make sure that I set my gain levels. So my master level will be at 0. And my gain, my trim, I'm going to make sure I set it so that I'm perfectly only in the green, giving myself plenty of room to be able to go up a bit before we even get close to going into the red zone. If I need more volume during the night, I will try to connect with whoever is controlling the sound, the PA system, and then I will go to them or signal them that I'm going to actually lower my volume so that they can add volume in the room. They'll be very happy you did that because that means that you're not going into the red to get more volume. So for overall, sonically, it's going to be better. And they also know that you're actually like respecting them and respecting the sound. And then you still have your headroom. So then I'm still all the way clean. Now I have more volume. That's how I try to go about it. I'm looking. I think I've read everything there. I'm just going to scroll down. Down. I've seen that. Did I miss anything? Just trying to see if I missed anything. Mwangi, salute to you. I haven't seen you yet. And Fleboito, I appreciate those bits. Appreciate that. Let me see. How far am I behind? Oh, that's pretty far. And do you think it's better to play clean versions or only play songs that are clean by itself? Sven, you came in later, so you probably came in after that answer. Like, I only play clean songs if I'm playing at an event where I can tell that clean songs are actually a better option. So if there's kids there, anything like that, then I will play clean tracks. Otherwise, I don't. I think Vest is spreading some love around here. So I see that there's subs being handed out. So Vest, if that's you, much love. Appreciate that. And I appreciate those bits as well, Mixmaster G. Brooklyn's best kept, salute. And Chris Murphy says, did you have a mentor when you started, and what is the best way to get a mentor? No, I did not have a mentor. I did not have a teacher, anything like that. I taught myself how to DJ. I didn't have anyone in my surroundings that was DJing that I could actually go to for advice. I never even thought about something like that. I've received that question multiple times from people asking me if I could be their mentor. The answer is pretty simple. No, not really. First off, I do this in all sorts of ways. I create content to share knowledge, to help more people out. And I could not see myself having extra time to now guide someone. So this is basically my way of hopefully helping people in one way or more ways. But I never had anything like that. So no, but I know plenty of people who tell you a story like they started because they had like an older brother or an uncle or someone in the neighborhood who was DJing and showed them the ropes, taught them how to do everything. And everyone's path is going to be a little bit different when it comes to that. Hey, Mwangi, I like that. Currently training on scratching using the tutorials. Dope. I like that. And Let's see. Better to have it and never play it than not have it and then you can't play at an event. I think that's about the clean and dirty versions, right? Yeah. Like for me personally, it's I mean, I know in advance where I'm playing. So if there was ever an event where I could just tell like, okay, I'm going to need clean versions, then I could get them. But for a lot of tracks, I have downloaded the clean versions. I just haven't really used them yet. So I understand what you're saying. Rich Nice is a diehard Rekordbox user. Do you think the Rev 7 will eventually be Rekordbox compatible? It might be. It might be. I mean, the same thing happened with the S9. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. I currently don't know. I think I saw someone ask what is Serato. I don't know who said that or who asked that. Just in case that was actually a question, Serato is DJ software. Just like Tractor, Virtual DJ, Algorithm DJ, and so on and so on. There's a lot out there. Yeah, and Mixmaster G said that before. Not likely in its current appearance because the Rev 7 doesn't have a Q next to the play, which is kind of a Rekordbox signature. So yeah, that could be an issue. Really? That is the first time. Alexa, stop. Did I say anything that sounded like that? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Or they have to come out with a separate version for Rekordbox. Yeah, Vinyl Touch. On that subject, like some DJs see it as a competition and do you dirty. I normally ask what they play to end on. But in this case, I'm not talking about like a DJ is doing an entire set and then you take over. This was an event where we were going to do like a back-to-back. So he played a track, I played a track, then he played a track, and he was like, let me do a couple more. So I was like, okay, but we still had to go back-to-back. So it wasn't as if he was leaving me out there and going. But yeah, it was still a weird move to just hear someone do a genre switch right before they hand you the decks again. But yeah, in that case, I did not think I would have to ask like, hey, what are you going to do on your last song? Because I'm hearing the vibe in those tracks. And I know that DJ is not leaving. That was super weird. It was. All right, let me see. Yeah, Leonzo, I appreciate that answer for the person who was asking. The only thing is I'm not sure if the person is using iTunes. Don't know if they mentioned that yet. But if they are, then that is what they should probably do. Do you know how to do automatic cue points on Serato? Automatic cue points on Serato? I don't think that's a possibility. I know Mixed in Key does that. You can analyze your songs in Mixed in Key, and it can place cue points for you. The question is, so why would you want to have software automatically set cue points? For some, this might work. I'm not a fan of the way Mixed in Key does it because those are not the cue points I use, and sometimes they're just totally not logical. So Mixed in Key analyzed the song, and I think it thinks there's like a transition there, and then they set a cue point, but sometimes those cue points make no sense. But for me, cue points are pretty specific. Like I have certain cue points that are always the same. I want to have a cue point at the beginning. Simple, because I want to be able to go back to the beginning fast. But beyond that, my next cue point could be a lot of things. It could be the start of a verse. And that could be simply on the one, but it could also be like a word that comes in before the one, or maybe the snare before the one. Different things. Sometimes the track has a break and I might want to have a cue point there. So I don't have like a normal routine for cue points. So I would never want software to to do that for me. Vest says it's possible in Mac OS. I don't know if that question is about the cue points. So I'm going to go with cuts per first. I'm doing fine. Every time before the gig, I'm stressed. During the party, it's good. Just before, I hate that feeling. You already have many years of experience, but did you feel this kind of thing before gigs? Yeah, sure. I mean, like nerves are pretty normal. I had it in the beginning. I want to say not in the beginning for normal gigs. Somehow I didn't really have that, but my first gigs were like not in like super large venues, and I was really comfortable what I was doing. I was just having so much fun hearing songs I like through like the big speakers. But I do know at a certain point when you get a gig at a larger venue that is more known, and you used to go there as like just a patron to come there and party, and now you're standing on the opposite side on stage. If I had to wait long, then I sometimes would feel a little bit of nerves, but they would leave like immediately when I started to play. And I don't have that anymore, really. But sometimes you might have some underlying feelings if you're playing, for instance, like I said, at a place you never played before, but you know the place has a reputation. You've been there before. It's a nice club, a lot of people. You've never played there. You may not be totally familiar with what they like as much as you know it in your usual clubs. That might give you a little bit of nerves, but yeah. I mean, it should be less and less over time. All right, Patrick says mixing key is trash when it comes to cue points. I mean, I kind of feel that same way. 5100. Yes. How do you hold the crossfader and platter? Is it loose or firm? That depends totally on what you're doing. Even with scratches, certain scratches, I can be more loose. Sometimes it's really rigid. I'll hold it really firm because I want to do some tight cuts. Fader, same thing. Sometimes it's loose and flowing. Sometimes it's more tight. It's so no specific thing, and it's different for different DJs. I see every DJ has its own their own way of the hand placement, how much pressure they apply. So it's all about feeling when it comes to that. And for some, one technique will work better than the others. That's all I can say, basically. DJ called CB showed off an Apple script that does it on Serato. Okay. And I think for Rekordbox as well. But that's a set script, right? It's not like you can you set the parameters in advance? I have to check that out. And then there's an app called Record Cloud that has a function for automatically generating cue points, I guess, for Rekordbox. Results aren't too bad for electronic music. I mean, again, like, it doesn't matter to me which software we're talking about, but yeah, I don't know. That's something I really just want to do myself. Like I said, I wouldn't mind if there would be a cue point like at the beginning of the track. If that would happen automatically, I guess that's cool. But beyond that, my cue points are going to be different. Costa Rica says, I have to take a series of deep breath before each stream. Going on 2 years of streaming now, and I still have to do it. Okay. Hey, I mean, let's be honest. It's going to be different for each and every one of us. That's why I can never say, like, hey, this is what you should do, and then you'll have no nerves. Because for some of us, that will just be a thing that might stay. And have you ever figured out what it is that actually gives you that feeling? Is it the fact that just that people are watching you? Is it fear of making mistakes? I mean, in some cases, being able to let go of certain feelings can take care of everything. That's why I always tell new DJs, like, hey, when you're doing your first gig, expect to make mistakes and know that that's okay. Because if you're not worrying about that too much, yeah, that helps. For me personally, with live streams, I'm extra comfortable. Like even this is not a DJ stream, but this stream started off extremely messy, and I don't really care. It's a live stream. This is not a prepared show. I'm just hitting broadcast and start, and sometimes I have to check something out. Sometimes something will go wrong. Sometimes something doesn't work. Sometimes I do wish I had time to test certain things before I start, but most of the times I just don't have the time. So I'm like, hey, I'm just going to go for it. And then people get to witness some mistakes, sometimes maybe some clumsiness, sometimes maybe that you'll have to wait for a second before I fix something. You learn to live way more stress-free when you don't worry about what people might think of certain things. So I'm not saying that's the case for you, but for some, that is the thing. They're worried how people might judge them when they're standing there, how they stand. They're looking at me. They're judging how I stand, how I move, what I play. Once you get that out of your system, it can help. But again, not for everyone. Curse, I see you. Salute. I appreciate that follow. And all right. Did I miss anything above? Yeah, Vest. That's it for me. Like with the hot cues. I mean, it is pretty personal. Now, maybe for some DJs in electronic music, it is like, okay, they all want their cue points just to have them after every phrase. And maybe if the software can recognize buildups easily in that, I'm pretty sure it'll set cue points that might work for a lot of the DJs. But for me, yeah, I need it too. Like you said your cue points at words to scratch in. Yep, that software is not going to find that for you, especially if you might pick a different word than I might pick, or I pick the snare right before the word sometimes, and other times I pick the word. That's why I need to do it myself. Let's see. Lionel Richie says, when they made you pay again with the updated version. What is that about? Oh, that's about mixing key. Oh, did they? You had to pay again? Damn, I didn't know that. I'm not a fan of that either. When companies do that, when they have software and then they have a new version and then you have to pay for it. DJ Breck one, appreciate that follow too. Salute. John Willard in the building. Good to see you again. And oh, it's your birthday. So you're probably out when you see this. Let me see. Oh, no, that's only a couple of minutes ago. So John Willard, congratulations. If you're still watching, have a happy birthday. Have a lot of fun. And someone needs my help. We got FSX93, if I'm reading that right. Patrick Morgan says, just take a drink and your nerves go away. That might work for some, but I would never advise DJs to start drinking, just because I've seen DJs who drink and it really affected their performance in a negative fashion. So for some that will work, for others it won't. And I like what Chris on the mix is saying here. We've gotten brainwashed with this concept of perfection. Mistakes are going to happen. It's how you recover that makes a difference. And yet, that's the thing for me as well. Like, I mean, is there such a thing as a perfect set? Let's say even if you do everything 100% correct from the technical side of things, so every transition is quote unquote perfect. You did everything right with the levels. You adjusted your EQ in ways that made every track blend just beautifully. Your timing was impeccable. You didn't even have to adjust anything. Everything was spot on. Then your song selection is not going to please the entire crowd. It's never going to be perfect. There's always going to be something. So yeah, I tend not to worry about that. Of course, I want to perform to the best of my ability. I want to rock that crowd. I want to make sure I'm pleasing that crowd. But hey, mistakes will come with that. I'm not playing a pre-recorded set. It's live, so mistakes will happen. I agree. Adam, I appreciate that follow. And Breck One, hey, we're just talking shop. It's all over the place today, as it is basically every week. It's just DJ related. That's the only thing all of these questions have in common. Poverty DJ was good. What are we talking about? Just checked in. Mixed in key is awesome for finding the key. Sucks at finding cue points. Yeah, I think we have a general consensus here that the auto cue points are just not really it when it comes to mixed in key. Yes, it is awesome for finding keys. I also have the other one, the mixed in key live. That's only for Mac. And when you have that on, even if you're playing something on YouTube or playing something on your computer, doesn't matter what app you're using, if you start mixed in key live, it will tell you the tempo and key of whatever you're playing from whatever. That's pretty cool. But yeah, the cue point thing, yeah. Ava Miney, I think it is. I appreciate that follow. Poverty DJ, indeed, you answered your own question. How do you get vinyl to be more slippery on turntables? Pisces. I use butter rugs on Reloop 7000s, and no matter how much I try to adjust the torque, it's not slippery enough. Do I need wax paper? I honestly don't know what it is. I've heard other DJs who also go through all the trouble, like using all these things. I have the most regular slip mats that are available out there, and they work perfectly fine for me. So I don't know what it is. So maybe you want it like basically too slippery. I'm not sure. Do you need wax paper? I mean, I've seen DJs do all sorts of things, and I would say try it out. Try it out for sure. Let's see if it helps you out. I've seen DJs use the butter rugs. I've seen DJs take like thin plastic, put it underneath the slip mat to make it like as slippery as can be. And I've tried a lot of those things, and at the end of the day, I'm using normal slip mats, not from a specific brand. The only thing I want to make sure is that they're not too thick. That's it. So I'm not sure. But I would say just like experiment and see if some of those things could help. Adjusting the torque shouldn't be something that helps with the slipperiness, though, I think. Ed Random, cheers. And we got DJ K Wright with the follow. I appreciate that. Let's see. Where? See, that happens when you scroll up and down. You might miss something. Does anyone do the white notes? I think it's called. Scared to do that. Just adjust the levels by ear. The white notes. No, I'm not sure what that is. Yeah, for a second, Mixmaster G, I was thinking about that too, the center hole of the vinyl. But I forgot to ask, like, is that with Pisces? Is that happening with all your vinyl, or are you testing this with the same record? Because if you're using like a lot of different pieces of vinyl and you have the issue with all of them, then it shouldn't be the center hole, I think. Thank you. Most definitely stay safe. All right, John Willett. Yes. Enjoy your birthday. Okay, Pisces says all of my Serato control vinyl. Yes, I'm not sure. Oh, so White Notes is also by Mixing Key. Is that White Note? I know Platinum Notes by Mixing Key. That's the one, right? Yeah, Platinum Notes. Yeah, it tells you that. I think anytime you analyze a track, it will also tell you like that it's seen like whatever so many peaks, and then you can use Platinum Notes to fix that. I think I've experimented with that in the past, but not thoroughly enough to tell you like, hey, that makes that makes a difference or it messes up your tracks. Yeah. Okay, so when you use it, it renames the audio files. But yeah, like I think indeed it normalizes the track. And a lot of the tracks where it was telling me like, hey, there's peaks and we need to fix it, were tracks that sounded perfectly fine to me. Now, of course, I don't have like super ears, but like tracks that I'd already like used for years, heard in multiple clubs through all sorts of sound systems. And then all of a sudden the software was telling me like, hey, we found like, I don't know how many peaks that we have to fix. I was like, I don't really think it's necessary, but yeah. DJ ASB in the building. Now you're not late. 8 to 10, 8 to 10 every Wednesday. So we still got a good 45 left on the clock. So since I'm all caught up, let me just quickly see if I maybe missed out on a question before. And Ed Random is making pea soup. I saw that. And anything else? Nah, I think we're all good here. Yo, what's going on? Okay, I thought my computer froze. That does not really happen here. Paid option. No, saw that already. No. Okay. No. All cut up. That feels amazing. I remember in the past, there was free software called Gain Something. Obviously, I'm not good at retaining the name of software. Yeah, I've been there. And especially now, there's so much software, so many services out there. Okay, so Pisces, make sure you check that. Like, if you feel that the vinyl is tight on the spindle, of course, when that hole is too big, that's a problem with scratching. But I on Monday during the vinyl stream, I had one record. I forgot which record it was. I basically had to force that onto the turntable because that was not really working. And then you feel it when you try to move it. Then it's definitely not moving the way it should. But I hardly have that happen with records. I don't think I've ever had it happen with control vinyl. I have not used the 7000s myself. I don't know if the spindle, if by any chance that it's the spindle, if it's bigger compared to like the 8000. Did you look into Btune 5 as I saw you guys talking about track analysis and normalized? No, I haven't. No, we were talking about mixed in key first and about the auto cue, and then now Platinum Notes came up, and we were talking a little bit about gain staging, like gain staging inside your software or doing it on the mixer. Then again, I said I haven't checked, but somehow it does sound familiar. Maybe I did check it. So I'm gonna just see if I maybe I did check this. Why is it not working? Btune 5. It's not finding it. Why not? Oh, Btunes. I think I've seen this one. No, I need to inspect that more. I haven't really looked into it. Let me quickly see what this one is doing. No, it's still off. Why is that still off? Quickly want to see if I can get that to work. What's your opinion on the reloop spin for beginners trying to learn to scratch before investing in a high quality turntable? CWY. I have not used the reloop spin, so I'm not familiar with that specific turntable. But in general, like portable turntables are a fun tool to have. if you currently don't have turntables and you just want to experiment a little bit with scratching, they're cool, but it does depend on how well they work in stock condition. And like I said, I haven't used the spin. So if I compare to, for instance, if you take the Newmark PT PT01 Scratch, I have that. That's a portable turntable. In stock condition, it is not really that great for scratching. It will skip all over the place. The tone arm is very light. You don't have a crossfader. You just have like an on-off switch. So you have to do modifications in order to get it to a proper performing form. Then again, you have something like the Omni from Headache Sounds, and that out the box works way better than the PT01 Scratch because the tone arm is heavier, better. The entire build is a little bit better. You have crossfaders on both sides. That is a fun tool. It has better better in and out connections as well, if I'm not mistaken. So there is a difference there. Now, I do believe the spin also is probably better out the box compared to the Newmark. But that is a thing. Like if I would have known, like if I know how the PT01 Scratch is out the box, and I was happy when I first got it and started to scratch with it. Now, of course, when you have experience, you're gonna find the feel that will work in order to not make it skip all the time. But it was kind of tricky. And again, like no crossfader. I still have fun with it. I've done like a scratch video with it. But I would not advise someone to buy that as a turntable to start scratching with unless you're also willing to go out and buy like you'll have to do at least like 3, 4, maybe 5 modifications. And then you'll have a portable turntable that is super dope and works well. I know plenty of the portabilists here. They all have the modifications, and then they turn into little beasts. And then they're dope. But again, some others will work great out the box. I can't tell you about the Reloop Spin. I'm also not really familiar with the prices. So when it comes to price points, I can't really compare. I would have to look that up. So for instance, the one I was talking about, the Omni, that works better. Let me just quickly see if that camera's working again. Why is it still not working? What did I do? I had that working before. But the Omni works better, but it is way more expensive than the PT01 Scratch. That's what I do know. I'm thinking about it. I think I have them both here. Let me see if I can just bring them out for a sec so you can see them. I just want to know why that, oh, look, now we're reconnecting. Wait a minute, why on earth are you that small? What? Really? This was full size when I was doing it before the stream. This was supposed to be a second angle. Crazy. Okay, never mind. Let me see if I have those turntables here. Just real quick for a sec. Let me just check. Andy, I see you. Salute. I'll get to your question in a sec. Let me just see if I have those turntables here. Yes. In the meantime, let me see what I see here. I'm learning to scratch. I'm looking for a new controller. Do you think moving platters or jog wheels will be better? Well, at the end of the day, for scratching, I would always say a turntable or a controller with a moving platter will give you the most accurate feeling and is better for learning how to scratch, but it depends on how far you want to take your scratching. So if you're only doing basic scratches, you can learn all of that. Wow, I broke the case. When did this happen? Basic scratches you can learn on a controller easily, but I just love the feeling of the motorized platters. So this is the PTO on scratch. Oh, other way. The PTO on scratch when you get it straight out the box. I mean, I love the look of it. Love this color. But this is a pretty light. This is like a plasticky type material. So they have modifications. Then you get like the aluminum, which gives you like you can tell, like I can press this. So when you're pressing on your vinyl, it presses all the way in, which is not good, especially for skipping. That's not good. The aluminum ones are a lot better, but you have to buy that and you have to build that in. The tone arm is also pretty light. They have better tone arms for it. And this is not a crossfader. This is just a switch. So one side or the other side. So I can do some scratches with it, but it's not the same thing as having an actual crossfader. So once you do the modifications, it turns into a dope device. Before that, it is kind of fun, but not as much fun as you would like it to be. Now my little beast should be in here. Yes, yes. I'm going to do one more reset on the GoPro because then I can get both of them on screen at the same time. But for now, PTO on scratch. Move that out the way. So if you compare that to this bad boy right here, I mean, it's hard to tell when I'm holding it here, but that's not plastic. And you notice it. Like, I'm pressing on it now. That does not move the same way the plastic one on the other one did. The tone arm is longer, heavier, and as you can tell, you got crossfaders, and you don't have one, you have two. So no matter how you want to hold the turntable, and if you're a lefty or a righty, whatever you want to do, you can choose which side you want to use. So that's this one out the box is ready for some work, for some real work. And on the subject of slip mats, it comes with a nice thin slip mat with an extra like layer that also gives you that nice buttery smooth slipperiness we were talking about. It has some more features, but yeah, that's the main difference there. Like out the box, you get something that really works. Do you have a written contract with a club for each event, or do you have residency contracts? Well, I've never had a residency contract. I've worked with contracts a couple of times. Unfortunately, within our scene, and I'm talking about like the hip hop R&B scene, that is my scene. Contracts were just not a thing here, especially with venues. It just really didn't happen. At a certain point, I worked through a booking agency for a second, and they did work with contracts. And I even noticed that like most of the people that used to book me were kind of hesitant to book me then because they were weary of contracts. They didn't trust contracts. Like opposite world, but that's what it was here. So yeah, and I've done some events where I played for, did some company events, and then we definitely did work with contracts. But it's just not a regular thing in our scene, unfortunately. Mm, all right. Anyways, I've been using for years. It's smooth for preparing my tracks and playlists. Okay, cool. That's about beat tunes, right? No, ASB, I appreciate that. I mean, I've heard it before, and I think Digital DJ Tips did a review on it. Like, I think I'm seeing that when I Googled the name, I see their name. Not sure if it's an actual review, but I think it is. And I've heard the name before, but I've just not looked into it. If I get a chance to, I will definitely do a video about that. How do you deal with people who are rude or come up to you with bad song requests? Yeah, that is something that will definitely happen. Rude. I haven't had too many rude people. I mean, sometimes when people are drunk, they don't even realize that they might be a little bit rude. But nothing really out of the ordinary, even though I know it happens, but it really depends on the places you play. Luckily, I did not play in a lot of places where like most of the people are drunk. You also have places where you just know, hey, if I'm playing from that time to that time, most of the people in here are going to be drunk. So luckily, that's not ever been my thing. So requests. Now, in the past, I just used to say like, hey, can't find it. Like a lot of times, if I didn't want to just say no, and I went through that phase that I didn't want to say no, I would tell people like, let me check. And I would like move 2 or 3 records in the vinyl days. And after that, even on my computer, like scroll one time. And then like a minute or two later, I tell them like, sorry, can't find it. That was it. At a certain point, I got out of that phase. And from that moment on, it was just simply like, no. I didn't even feel like doing any type of acting or theatrics anymore, especially when they request something that really doesn't make sense. I'm like, no. I don't spend a lot of time explaining, like, if I don't play it, then I don't play it. Now, in certain cases, if someone's actually very friendly, then I might just say, like, sorry, that doesn't fit the vibe that I'm currently in. Like if they're requesting a song that's like way too mellow or slow and I'm playing prime time, I'll just let them know like, hey, sorry, I'm not going to play that now because that's a totally different energy. But only if people are really nice. If they're just randomly asking, not being rude, but also not being super friendly, then I'm like, nah. And even that hasn't resulted in anything like crazy happening. But I try not to lose my temper. I mean, in most cases, I play in clubs that will have staff and security. So if I feel someone's bothering me or someone's claiming too much of my time and I should be focusing on my gig, I'm there. I'm getting paid to perform and please that audience, make it a good night. I don't want to spend too much time on something that's distracting me from creating and keeping my vibe. So I might have to call like security. But in most cases, I even didn't have to do that, either because the club had like security that was on point, and then people would actually, like security would just walk up to the booth because they saw someone was like spending too much time there, and it was just let them know like, hey, let the man work. Because it's not your job. You're not the bouncer. You're the DJ. So it's not up to you to do all of that. If you have somebody who's being rude when making a song request, either 1, don't play the song. Yeah. Or 2, call for security. You don't have time to deal with that. Hey, Leonzo, we're on the same page right here. And that is exactly that. Patrick says, tell me you're going to play the song and then don't. Yeah, I mean, I think I may have done that once or twice. Like say, yeah, cool. And then they come back later and you're like, yeah, a little while longer. and at the end of the night, they're giving you the evil eye. So I don't do that anymore, but I've done that. Say the song is on your other hard drive. I mean, in the beginning with vinyl, it was easy. If you didn't have it, you didn't have it. In the beginning with digital, it was still okay, but at a certain point, I even had people like during this, when the CDJs came up, at a certain point, you have people who would like tell you like, yeah, I have the CD here. You're like, yo, bro, we're not doing this. I've had people show me like they saw the computer and they would show me a flash drive. Like I have the song on a flash drive. And once the crowd, and that will take a while, once the crowd gets into or starts understanding that more DJs are now also using like cloud services, and that DJs now have access to something like Tidal, SoundCloud, or BeatSource. Yeah, saying I don't have it is just not really going to be an option anymore. That's why I got away from that like quite some time ago. And for me, it's just now I'm just on a no. If it's something I don't play, I'm like, nah, I'm not playing that. I'm not a jukebox. I mean, that's not the thing. This is not request hour. You know, I mean, you have places where people have a tip jar and you can request and they'll play it. Cool. But that's not what I'm doing there. So, yeah. And, hey, but Costa Rica, you made a joke here. Like Costa Rica just said, tell them you played it and they must have been in the bathroom. I've had the opposite happen plenty of times. Like, there's been times where people would request a song, and the song they requested was a song I was already going to play. Like, you have a lot of those people, too. Like, I'm playing a hip-hop R&B party. It's prime time. I'm playing a lot of the usual suspects. I'm playing a lot of the bangers, a lot of the hits. And then you have a lot of people that will ask for one of those hits. So those are songs I was going to play anyway. But then they come back 30 minutes later. I've already played the song. And they're like, when are you going to play my song? I've had that happen at least, I want to say, 30 times. That people requested a song. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to play that. I played it. And then they come back asking for the song. So maybe they actually were in the bathroom. Sometimes they're actually just too drunk. And they're not noticing it because someone's talking to them at that moment. They don't have the attention span to hear other things or the attention anymore. Their focus is gone. So when someone's talking to them, they're probably like, listen to that person. And they missed the song. I've had that happen like too many times. But yeah, if they are drunk and you don't want to play, you could actually say, hey, I've already played that. You could do that. Unless they have like the sober friend that's with them that's like, nah, we were here the whole time. He didn't play that. And then you have someone drunk coming back agitated. So I try to just keep it honest. Like, if it's no, it's no. ASB can relate to the song requesting drunk people. I'm playing in an after-hour club. I deal with people like that. I just say no internet because they ask, play it on YouTube. I mean, yeah, it's crazy. Like, people are really, it's a different time, yo. But I'm like, again, I'm happy I don't do gigs like that just because I don't think I'll enjoy it that much. If you have too many drunk people, I've been around drunk people and it's okay and fun to a certain point if you're just at a club together. But if you're the one working and then they are coming to bother you, it's a different story. I've had that happen with a person who actually hired me, I'm sure, and had the song and they specifically wanted to hear it. I played and they missed it. Yeah, like I said, I've had that happen a lot. It happens. Hey, W. Yeah, W. I should have a moderator at the club, not just in the chat. But yeah, play it on YouTube. People have no idea. That's the thing. They have no idea what we do. And they don't care. At that moment, they're just thinking about what they want. And then they'll just say stuff like that. It's crazy, though. I'm going to give BTunes a closer look really soon, just to check exactly what it can do for you. Because anything that can help me with the organization, is it something that works well for tagging as well? I want to look into that. What's your golden point for making a set? Halis, what's going on, Halis? Golden point for making a set, key, BPM, etc. Whoa, well, that's the thing. I don't make sets. I play freestyle, so I don't prepare a set. I try to know what I bring to an event when it comes to the music. So maybe possibly I'll make a folder with a pretty large song selections of songs that I could play at that specific event. But from that point, I play, read the crowd, and go. So it's not a planned set. So I really, really hardly do that unless maybe if I'm preparing a mixtape, or maybe if I would do a radio set, a guest set somewhere, that I would prepare like at least my first part, or maybe everything. But I really, really hardly do that. So I don't have a lot of pointers when it comes to that. And I don't have a specific way to go about that either. It's kind of liberating for me, the freestyle aspect of not being pinned to having to play this track, then that track, then that track. When maybe after track one, I noticed that the crowd is kind of different and they are not with the vibe. When I'm playing freestyle, I can easily just switch and try out stuff. If you're playing a prepared set, that is a different scenario. Or someone bothers you relentlessly for a song, you play it, they listen to it for 45 seconds and go back to what they're doing. Yo, exactly. Been there too. You play it, you see that they hear it, they recognize it, and then they just turn around and start talking to someone. You're like, really? You requested a song and this is how you react? They're just talking to someone. They hear the song. They wanted to hear the song. And now they're not even dancing or vibing. They just continue talking. Yeah, man. Yep. This brings back a lot of memories. I mean, it's been quite a while since I've been in a club for an actual gig. And it's going to be a while longer. I have some bookings lined up. But that's, I think the first one is June. I have some Brainpower gigs coming up as well, but also not for at least a month or more. I mean, we're just getting started here. We've opened up again finally, but like most of the bookings, it's not like they opened up and I was called to come play the next week or something like that. So the stuff I have lined up is lined up for future months. Now, in this case, I am kind of positive. I don't expect us to have another lockdown. We had a couple of those, and then everything that finally got built up with bookings was canceled again. And I've just been without gigs that entire time. So yeah, I'm positive for this run coming this year. But man, it's been a while, man. Where do you start when you want to learn how to scratch and how to pick your tracks or samples? Well, Lloyd, the best starting point is just to do a shameless plug and say you're on my channel right now on YouTube. Check out my scratch tutorial series. That is a great place to start. But for real, that is a great place to start because I just start with the absolute basics. And that's where you should start if you're learning how to scratch. So that is the best place to start. Now, when it comes to picking tracks or samples, I scratch with anything. I mean, of course, sounds can be cool for scratching, but you can use voices for scratching. You can use any sound. You can use a drum sound, but like if you use a kick or a snare, you are more limited to what you can do with it because the frequency range is not the same on a kick drum compared to when you have like a voice. I have some scratch sounds that you can download as well. They're on my SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/DJ TLM. You can find free beats in a playlist and also free scratch sounds. I'm I release new beats and also sounds on a regular. So I just recorded a upcoming Saturday sessions. That's an interactive scratch session I do. And in this case, the beat that I'm using is going to be a file that also has like a couple of sounds before that, like a vocal sample and a sound. So, but you can get them from all sorts of places. If you're looking for sounds, you can just download free sound effects, stuff like that. But you can basically scratch with anything, but you have to start with the basics and don't go too fast. Like a lot of people, when they start scratching, they want to learn how to do these intricate type of techniques. And that's just too much to start with. You have to start with the basics because the basics come back in all of the other techniques that you're going to apply later. So for instance, I started a new scratch tutorial series as well, but that's not where you should start. And this series is based on dissecting scratch patterns that I've done. It's called the breakdown, and then I break down a pattern in each video. So you need to start with the scratch tutorial just to learn the basic scratches. But once you pass that stage, you can start working on creating patterns, combining different techniques. Now, in that breakdown or in those breakdowns, you see that with a lot of different scratches that sound different when you hear them, you are applying a lot of the same basic techniques. Like with a lot of the scratches, you're literally doing the baby scratch, forward and backward motion. But because of what you do with your crossfader, it can sound totally different. Would you do a video on Twitch setup for DJs? Like a streaming setup for DJs? Yeah, I still need to do that actually. So that's a good one. I still need to do that. Is this one working normally now? Oh, I didn't turn it back on again. I want to see if I can get a full picture this time. It is starting again. Look at that. That is what we were looking for. Even though I only have 15 minutes left. Now we got angles. Yeah, I should do a video on that. Even though I do discuss what I do here more often. Excuse me. Let me untangle a cable. I can actually move my GoPro in so I can show you what I'm using right now. There we go. Because I have this one here. Hi. So for today's stream, I'm using this microphone right here, my Rode pod mic that is connected to this device right here. That's my Rodecaster Pro. That is basically for podcasting, but in this case, I have that connected to my computer. So that goes into my streaming software, OBS, and that gives me my audio. That is what I'm currently using for my mainstream, which is total overkill. That is my my S5 Panasonic Lumix S5. That's my main YouTube camera, but I now use it as my main streaming camera. That is connected to this device right here. That is the ATEM Mini Pro. That's a video switcher. And that allows me to connect more cameras. So in this case, I have two cameras connected, the GoPro that I'm holding right now. And if I press the button, then you see the main cam. There on the screen, you have OBS, so I can see what's happening in OBS. So this device is connected to the computer, sends the video to OBS. That device is connected to the computer, and that gives me the microphone. But of course, you're talking about DJ setups. Oh, by the way, that's a big light. That's a very big light, but lighting really helps. Now, normally it's a mess over here. I have a table here. Normally, this is where my DJ set is placed, And that camera will be placed there against the wall. Then I have an Elgato key light there. That's the second light I use. And I will do a proper YouTube video to show you that. Costa Rica, there's vinyl there. There's some over there that I used. There's more over here. And I still need to clean all of that up. Every time I do a vinyl set, the studio turns into an absolute mess. But it's fun, though. All right. So I will do a proper video to show you the set when I'm DJing. But it is basically the same. I'm not using that Rodecaster Pro. So this part is not being used. I have one other mic, same mic as this one. That is attached to the table when I'm DJing. But then the microphone is not connected to a Rodecaster. The microphone is just connected to the DJ mixer or controller that I'm using. And the sound from that controller then goes in to the video switcher you just saw. And then it goes to OBS. So it all revolves around the same thing. Oh, I also have a stream deck. I didn't even show that. But I'll do that another time. Did I miss something? Funny experience. TLM, you got to come to Swiss. Maybe you can have a fun experience with the drunk people. Yeah, I've actually already played in Switzerland, but only once. And the party itself was pretty cool. But I haven't been back there ever since. Might also have something to do with the fact that the promoter of the party ended up being a little bit shady. But that's a longer story. I haven't even thought about that in a long time. But the party itself was dope. So we can talk about that later. Will be fun to go back there. And I actually have been back to Switzerland, but not to DJ. 2 years ago. Or 3 years ago. Yeah, summer vacation. We did like a summer tour with just a family tour with a car going through Germany. What did we do? We took a lot of countries. Little Germany, little France, Switzerland, Italy. So riding through the mountains and everything. Pretty dope. Beautiful there. Do you have a table specified on your rider? Had gigs where the table was super wobbly and wasn't suitable for scratching. Now, what I do on my rider, I do actually have specifications for a table, and the chair here is killing me again. I do have specifications, and they don't specify what type of table, but I let them know that the table has to be at least 110, like 110 centimeters high, and at least like, I don't even remember, like at least like I think like 1.5 or 2 meters wide, so it can fit my equipment and it's high enough. That's the most important thing. I've walked into clubs, not clubs like venues, not normal clubs, and they would have like an actual normal table set up for me. So then your DJ equipment is at crotch height, which is ridiculous. But like most of the places I play either have like a set DJ booth, and that's not wobbly, or they're venues that have a stage, and then they have proper like stage setups. So if they have to build a booth, you know you're gonna get a proper table. So I've been lucky to not really have the wobbly experience, but you can put that in your rider that it has to be a sturdy table if you think that is important to add. Is the vinyl? Oh, I had that already. With a controller, with good sound card like the Rain 1 Rev 7, should you run the sound through an external mixer, or can you just plug the speakers and mic directly in the controller and have the best quality? I mean, you can go directly from the controller, or you would have to have an external mixer that has such impeccable quality that you know that if you run it through there, that somehow it can enhance it. Otherwise, I mean, you can go directly from the device. I mean, I don't do it like that here because a lot of times when I'm like, either I just want to monitor and the speakers are connected to my my audio interface that's connected to the computer. So in my case, they're not directly connected to whatever device I'm using, but I could do that. I could plug them straight in, but I have them connected to the computer also because sometimes I have to record stuff, and in that case, I need to be connected. I appreciate those bits. Flebato, I see you with the bits. Macman Span, salute to you. Jarvis says, how old do you think is too old to DJ in the club? That really depends on the person. Like, age is not really a factor unless you feel that the club life is not for you anymore. I mean, I have to admit, even I'm not as excited to have like crazy long late nights compared to when I was younger and I would just play entire weekends and hardly sleep. So let's say you're like older. I don't know what age we should be looking at, but let's say you're in your whatever 50s and you want to start DJing. You can just do that. Okay, 50 or 33. Oh wow. That is not old. Oh, but you're in your 50s. You want to start DJing. You can do that. You can DJ at home. You could also DJ in clubs, but some people in their 50s are full of life and they're looking forward to this challenge. They want to have that vibe. It's on Netflix. There's what's it called again? On Netflix, there was a sort of a documentary on nightlife somewhere in Asia, and they had this like lady that was in her 80s that was playing, I think a Japanese lady in her 80s who's playing techno parties, having the time of her life. So it depends. For some, they don't want to think about stepping out, coming home at 5, 6 in the morning. And for others, that might be a joy. So that's not important. But you're talking about 33 and you're just getting momentum as a DJ in the DJ scene. I mean, 33 is not old at all. At all. So, nah. But it depends. Like some people, maybe when you're 30, 36, 37, maybe by that time, you don't feel like this is what you want to do anymore. The whole club thing, night thing. Then again, there could be there's another path you could travel where you're doing private events and you're doing mostly daytime parties. There's other options there. But, I mean, you should do this for however long it feels right for you. Magnum the Rapper, I appreciate that follow. I see you. And Cat London says, when is the next time you're coming back to Pennsylvania? I'm coming back to Pennsylvania? Now, I have to be honest. When it comes to geography, I mean, I'm not all the way on point. So what's in Pennsylvania? Is Philly in Pennsylvania? Otherwise, I have no idea when I've been in Pennsylvania. That's the only reason why I ask. Because if Philly is not in Pennsylvania, then I don't know when I've been there. I have not been there. Kat, let me know. Maybe you know something I don't. Magnum the Rapper says, hey, I see that you're chilling doing your thing. Got a rap song on SoundCloud that I'm not confident with yet. If you want to check it out, that would make my day. Yeah, but first off, I don't really have time. And okay, Philly is in Pennsylvania. Okay, that's why it rang a bell. And then, yes, I've been to Philly, so then I've been to Pennsylvania in that sense. I don't know. I don't know when I will be when I will be back there. I definitely want to go back there. Had a lot of fun when I was there the last time, even though that's mad long ago. That is like 2000. No. The last couple of times I went to the States, I only went to New York. Philly was only the first time. That was back in, I want to say 99, I think. Not sure. Haven't been there since, but I definitely hope to go back there one day. DJ Inspiration 53. I have late nights and not in the club. All right. Funk Flex is like 68 and he still DJs. Yeah. And Magnum the rapper says it's on a Drake type beat. That is a pretty broad description though. Drake has done songs on a lot of different types of beats. Now, I'll be honest, sometimes you hear a beat and you could say like, hey, that sounds like a typical Drake beat. But in this case, I don't know. So are you on SoundCloud as Magnum the Rapper? So we'll see if we get an answer for that. And here's the crazy thing, but that's the difference in time. I come from a different era. If I was a rapper and I would have a song that I wasn't really confident about yet, I wouldn't just, well, first off, back then you couldn't put it online. We didn't really have online like that. But I would not just have it out there if I wasn't confident about it yet. I might find peeps I know who had knowledge to let them hear it. But it's a different era now. Like a lot of people will put anything online. That's not to knock you in any way, by the way. Let me just say that. Just like a realization of the different time. Like even if you're not sure, just putting it out and letting people check it. So I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. It's just different. And salute SP404A. And so Magnum, SoundCloud, is Magnum the Rapper your name? What's the title of the track? I mean, I can't say drop a link because that Twitch doesn't do that. And let's see if you answer in time because we're actually out of time already. So I'm gonna say my goodbyes already. I want to thank all of you for tuning in, and I'll be back on Monday with Crates with a Beat Source edition. And I got a ton of editing I got to do here, so I'm gonna get to that. So Kendall West, hi, and basically bye at the same time because we're ending the stream now. So like I said, back on Monday with Crates with another mix. Back with the Q&A on Wednesday as always. And anything else? Yeah, there's a couple of breakdown videos on the way, Saturday Sessions videos on the way. I had some other videos, but I still have to edit them. And the new podcast is coming too. I had recorded episode 92, but I'm not happy with it. So that's like the opposite world. Like it's not like I'm not confident about it yet. I wasn't happy with it. Like a 45-minute episode. Delete it. I'm going to re-record it because the podcast is now every episode is one topic. I want to make sure I'm really adding value. I was not happy with what I had in there. I didn't think it was thorough enough. I was talking about a lot of stuff that I hadn't researched, so there were a lot of I don't knows in there. I don't want a lot of I don't knows in my podcast. Like here for the Q&A, you can ask me questions, and if I don't know, I'll just say, hey, I don't know. But if I'm making a podcast about a topic, I should know what I'm talking about. So I'm re-recording episode 92. So that is coming, but I'm not exactly sure when. Earl Whiff, see you. And Reese, I appreciate those bits. See you too. And wait, my sandwich. You came in too late with the question. Can people Can people some recommendations of music, for example, from my country, like in DMs or something? I mean, I don't know if people can answer because I'm ending the stream right now. So you're just too late. ID 503, I see you. I appreciate that follow. Much love. Costa Rica piece, Kendo West piece, ASB, Mixmaster G, Wait My Sandwich, and Costa Rica, Earl with Cat London. Just going to do a couple quick shout outs from the last names I see. SB404, DJ Inspiration, Chris on the Mix, Patrick Morgan. Let's see. Who else? Jarvis, Macman Span, Fleboiteau, Jarvis S. Salute to all of you. Andy and Leonzal, Lloyd, Halise. Let's see. 5100, yes. And I'm about to stop scrolling. So everyone else in here, I want to thank you. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate the knowledge y'all shared when people ask the questions. See you next time.